Okay, this question says, which number has the greatest absolute value? Now, maybe you can't read that, but the options are negative 17, negative 13, 15, and 19. Greatest absolute value means the farthest away from 0. Okay, hope you can read that. The greatest absolute value means the farthest away from 0. So, which of these numbers are the farthest away from 0? Well, you have a number 9, 0 right there, and this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then, let's see, somewhere out here we would have 15 and 19. Over here we would have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, and then somewhere out here we would have negative 13, negative 17. Okay. So, which of these numbers are the farthest away from 0? Well, negative 13 is 13 away from 0, negative 17 is 17 away from 0, 15 is 15 away from 0, and 19 is the one that is the farthest away, 19 spaces away. So, therefore, 19 has the greatest absolute value. Okay, I'm getting this, by the way, Google CAHSEE practice exam PDF. Google this, CAHSEE practice exam, PDF. PDF just means it'll come up in a way that you can see it easily on the tablet or on the laptop. And I'm just going to do a bunch of practice problems from there. The next video is on this problem. This problem says, between which two integers is the value of square root of 61? Okay, so, you have to know what an integer is, and you have to kind of know what that is, square root of 61. The square root of 61, just so you know what number that is, comes out to be 7.81024, the number goes on forever. So this is not an integer. This is a real number. The decimal place continues on forever. There's no end to it. We want to know, well, okay, based on this you can get the answer now, because now you know that this number is between 7 and 8. Here's 7, here's 8. This number is somewhere between 7.81. 7.5 would be before that. 7.81 lies between the two integers, 7 and 8. An integer? What is an integer? An integer are the following numbers. You have all the negative numbers. You have 0, you have 1, 2, 3. All the positive numbers, all the negative numbers. Whole numbers though. They cannot be like 7.8. That is not an integer. 5.1 is not an integer. Square root of 3 is not an integer. 3.1415 2 is not an integer. 1/2 not an integer. 0.01 is not an integer. Integers have to be whole numbers, and they can be negative or positive. So let's say we didn't know that it was 7.81. To figure out this problem, what we would have to do is, well, we know that when we take the square root of 61, we're going to get a number, and we want to know whether that number lies in between 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9, or 9 and 10. So how can we really figure that out? Well, let's start with the 6 and 7. If we square those, that means like 6 times 6, 6 times 6 equals 36, and 7 times 7 equals 49. That's what 7 squared is, 7 times 7. So 61 does not lie in between these two, 36 and 49, so we know that it's not 6 and 7. For 7 and 8, 7 squared and 8 squared, 7 times 7, 49, 8 times 8 equals 64. And sure enough, 61 lies in between 64 and 49. And that's how you would find out the answer, just by squaring them. And we can do that because squaring and square root are the inverse operations of each other. As long as you understood how I did this, you should be good. Okay, the last problem for this video, a little more tricky. So this problem says, use the addition problems below to answer the question. So they're talking about these right here. And I'll close up on it so you can see it. And then if you want to take a good look at it, you can put pause on this so you can see it clearly. There. Those problems. So 1/2 plus 1/4 equals 3/4. 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8 equals 7/8. And so on and so forth. You should write these down and try to make sense of them yourself. Alright, so the question asks, based on this pattern, because there's a pattern here, if you write them down you'll probably see it, what is the sum of this? The sum of, what does the sum of mean? It just means, what is the answer when you add these things together? When you add things together, it's a sum. When you divide things together, it's a quotient. When you multiply things together, that's a product. There's different names for different things that you're doing. So, what is the sum of this? Well, okay. Over here we see that 1/2 plus 1/4 is equal to 3/4. Okay, what do we notice right here? In the sum, the answer, after we add the things up, we see that the denominator, because it's down there, denominator, is the same as the last one in the sum. It's the same one. And what do we notice about the numerator? Well, the numerator is 1 less than the denominator. Okay? Let's see. For 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8, do we see the same pattern? Is the denominator the same as this one? Yes, they are. We see that over here. And then this has to be 1 less, 7/8. So that's the pattern. As long as the next term that we add, 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8, the next term that we add, the denominator has to double. So right here, 1 from 2, 4, 8. The next one is going to be 16 over 1 still. And this should be 16 over 15, 1 less. Denominators are the same. And we're good to go. Okay? And then in the last one, it's the same thing. So for the question that they ask us, it says 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8. Okay, it's doubling. It's 1/16 plus, and then these dots mean the pattern continues. 1/32, 1/64, 1/128, 1/256, 1/1012. No, 1024, and that would be this one right here. Okay. Okay, so what is the sum of it? What is the answer right here? Well, the pattern continues the same, so down here, the denominator is going to be the same, and then on top, it's just one less than this one. So 10, 23. So the correct answer would be part C. Okay. All right. The website that I got this practice test for, I'm going to write it up here. Alright, look up this website and see if you can find the practice test. Alright, I'll make another video maybe later, maybe tomorrow.